Hello everyone, this is Central and this is part 1 of my Bofuri Maple cosplay that will consist of the waist sash, the shirt, the shorts, and the stockings. We'll begin with the waist sash that will be double layered since the front and the back have an identical pattern and I didn't want any raw edges to show in the final outfit. The materials I used were a non-stretch black and red fabric that were in desperate need of an ironing, but I decided against that and threw myself into the project, hoping that would be giving me the best results. To get the right amount of panels, I folded the fabric over itself a few times before pinning it in place and cutting the excess off. After that, I marked the template pattern onto the fabric with a water-soluble inking pen and then cut the fabric out. Now, I know I should have used a larger pair of scissors instead of the dinky orange ones that I was using, since there was 4 layers of red fabric folded onto one another. But since they were currently some of the stronger scissors that I had, I just went along with those, hoping that I did not make a mistake along the way. For the red fabric, I had to make 4 panels, while for the black fabric, I had to make 6 panels, which will be shown soon. Since there was a lot of fabric layers, my pins were being stubborn and didn't want to hold them in place. So I took my time cutting the shaped fabric out, and once I was done, I separated them before pinning them in place with a single pin so I didn't lose any of them while working on the black fabric. Because the black fabric required 6 panels and it was difficult to pin and cut 4 layers of fabric together, I folded the fabric into thirds instead and was successfully able to pin it in place after placing the template on top of the fabric and then weighing the fabric down with some makeshift weights such as the hairsprays and the Coca-Cola bottle that I had that were on the bureau right next to me. Since I had to make 6 panels, I did do this process twice but only recorded it once so that you didn't have to see me do the same thing multiple times. After removing the weights, the pin container, and the template, I was able to cut the fabric to my desired shape with the pins as my guidelines before separating the fabric, and it was finally time to move on to the next step. With the 10 panels cut and laid out, I was able to pin the fabric edges with the right sides facing each other, starting with the black fabric on top and then the red fabric underneath, alternating between the 2 colors until I had 5 panels pinned together to make one side of the sash. I repeated the same steps in order to make the second side of the sash before moving on to the sewing machine. I probably should have mentioned earlier in the video that I made the sash according to my dimensions, which from one side of my torso to the other it was 20 inches and from the waist down to the middle of my calf it was 28 inches. To get the 5 even panels, I divided my raised measurement by 5, which meant that the top of each panel was 4 inches wide, and since I wanted the sash to flare out, I added an extra 4 inches to the bottom of the template, making the bottom of each panel 8 inches. Once all of the panels were sewn together, I removed the pins and removed the excess threads with my scissors before placing both panels down with the right sides facing each other and pinning around the entire garment, leaving only a few inches in pin so that I would be able to flip the fabric onto its completed side once the entire thing was sewn into place. The sewing machine that I am using for this project is a Janome MyExcel 4014, which, while it's not the newest sewing machine with the latest gadgets and gizmos, I'm very thankful towards the person who gave this machine to me when her daughter bought a new sewing machine and didn't want to give it to Goodwill just yet. It was a meeting at the right place at the right time sort of scenario, and this machine has been a lifesaver since I did a lot of sewing projects by hand, and if I started this monster of a project by hand, it would have taken me a lot longer to do. But back to the project. I removed the pins from around the edges of the sash and flipped it over to the right side before pinning the edges one last time to give the garment its smooth finish. Looking back at how I did this part of the project, I severely underestimated how many pins it took to keep the fabric laying flat. However, if I didn't do this step, the sash could have ended up wonky, and since I have made the mistake of sewing a garment or 2 without pins, I did not want to do that, especially with something like this. Once I ran around the sash the final time, I cut off the excess threads that were dangling and hung it up until it was time for me to add it on to the armor piece that it would eventually go on later. Onto the sleeveless turtleneck. I started by folding a red stretch material 4 times, and using a sleeveless turtleneck template that I had designed prior to this project, I marked the fabric with my water-soluble pen before pinning the fabric down and cutting the fabric out, this time with a pair of purple handle scissors. Again, these are not the best scissors that I have, but they did a job and the fabric didn't have any odd cuts to it. Once I had the entire fabric cut out, I removed the pins that kept the fabric in place before opening it from 4 folds to 2 folds and pinning along the sides and the tops of the fabric, making sure that I did not pin the neck, arms, and torso area down. After everything was pinned, I took my sleeveless turtleneck to the sewing machine and sewed where the pins laid, making sure that I kept the fabric as flat as possible to avoid any bundling. It's one of the downfalls of sewing a straight seam on a stretch fabric, as my leg of a zigzag seam with this machine can be a hit or a miss, but that's more likely my fault since I don't use that sewing mode often. Cutting the excess threads off, I needed to add the turtleneck part of the shirt, which I designed from the template and drew on a new sheet of paper the template that had a curve around the base before laying it out on two smaller pieces of the same stretch fabric that was folded in half with the right sides facing each other, marking it with my pen, pinning it in place, and cutting it out and sewing them together. You think when it comes to filming a costume project that I would have recorded or photographed everything that happened, but I didn't. So what I missed recording was that I sewed the turtleneck piece onto the shirt, cut out the back part of the shirt, and hemmed all the raw edges clean. Now back to the rest of the film. Onto the shorts. I placed 2 layers of fabric on top of one another before using a template that I made based off a pair of leggings that I owned, and marked the design onto the fabric twice, pinning the 2 layers together around the edges of the design and cutting them out with a pair of scissors. The reason why I drew on the fabric twice versus stacking the fabric onto one another 4 times was because I didn't want to have a repeat of what I did with the sash, and stretch fabric is unforgiving in the terms of keeping all the layers 100% perfect. Once all the fabric was cut, I removed the pins and placed the correct sides of the fabric against each other before pinning it around the inner curvature of the shorts and taking it to the sewing machine. Apart from the stockings that will be coming up soon, the shorts were probably the easiest part of the outfit since I have had experience making stretch shorts for other costumes that I did and probably will do in the future. This was of course after I got the sewing machine and needed to practice making something on it besides an endless supply of skirts and shirts. After the seams were sewn and I cut the thread that kept the 2 short pieces together, I removed the pins and placed the fabric layers with the wrong sides facing outward before pinning the crotch and the sides of the shorts together. The final step that I did with the shorts was hemming everything in place so it could have its nice smooth finish instead of the raw edges that were seen earlier. While it wasn't the smartest decision having the seams on the sides and the middle of the shorts, these are going to be covered by the front armor panel with only the front leg parts peeking through. Last, but certainly not least for the first part of this cosplay video, is the stockings. Using a template from a previous costume that required stockings, I laid the pattern out onto my red stretch fabric before marking it with my fabric pen, pinning it into place, and cutting it out. After removing the excess fabric from what I needed, I took the pins that kept the fabric originally in place out, then pinned along the entire side and bottom of the stocking before taking it to the sewing machine. Keeping the fabric flat, I sewed from the foot of the stocking and worked my way up to the top, making sure not to sew the opening, and repeated the process to get the second stocking made. Once both stockings were sewn, I removed the pins that kept the fabric in place and turned it to the correct side, only to realize that the template I used was a little too long for the stockings that I needed for this particular costume. So laying both stockings flat and making sure that they matched, I pinned a diagonal line a few inches from the top and cut off the excess fabric, now having the right dimensions. To keep the stocking from sliding down my legs, I used an elastic that had silicone bands and pinned it onto the wrong side of the fabric, being careful not to stretch either the band or the fabric. After everything was pinned in place and I cut off the excess band, I took the stocking to the sewing machine and stitched along the top and the bottom, stretching both fabric and band to make sure that they were secured and I had room to fit my leg through the opening. During this entire process, I did try on everything and alter what needed to be fixed, and thankfully the stockings fit perfectly the first time that I didn't have to go back and remake them. This was also the same with the shirt, the shorts, and the sash. Speaking of stockings, since they had a double layered effect at the top, I decided to make that on sturdier fabric using only the top few inches of the legging template as my guide, marking it down with my pen and cutting it out. Moving the scraps of fabric out of the way, I laid out my red stretch fabric before pinning the sturdier fabric on top of it and cutting along the perimeter, leaving about a ½ inch of fabric that I can fold over and pin to get the finished edges. Okay, so I didn't get the perfect cut the first time and I had to remove some excess fabric. As someone who loves to make costumes, I learn as I go, and the best way for me to learn is through experience. Once all of the excess fabric was removed, I folded the raw edges of the red stretch fabric over the sturdier fabric and pinned it down before carefully sewing them in place, removing any pins that wanted to get caught in the sewing machine. When all of the pinned edges were sewn down, I removed the pins and sewed both ends of the stocking top together to get its final shape. I know this isn't the most professional way to make this piece of the stocking, but none of the ugly sides showed at the end when I did try this piece on. The last step that I did for the stocking was hand sewing the top and the bottom pieces of the stocking together with a few strategically placed stitches. So this is how the final outfit turned out, and I'll admit that I'm really happy with the results. Everything fitted perfectly and it was extremely comfortable. I especially love the waist sash, but who doesn't love a good butt cape? But anyway, thank you all for watching part 1 of my video process, and if you want more content like this, please subscribe and like this video. And I'll see you soon. Ciao!